Who's the most annoying person in your house right now? Oh, we got 2-1. What's one thing you've learned about yourself in quarantine? Okay. Kate, what'd you say? Bad at art? You like school?
No, but better than this.
And what's one way you're pursuing God while you're home?
I'm reading the Bible.
Okay.
Hey Grant, what's wrong?
Oh, hi, Kaylee. I'm really worried about picking my classes next year.
Why are you worried?
I just realized I have to take an advanced math class.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that class.
Why not?
Because it's math. It's as easy as pie.
Oh!
There you are, Chris. I've been trying to reach you.
Oh, hi Jenna. Sorry, I've been busy practicing.
Practicing what?
I want to try to be a comedian. A really good one, like Samson.
From the Bible? Thought it was that prophet, the really strong one.
Yeah, but he was a comedian too. He really brought down the house. Get it? He knocked over the walls and brought down the house.
You've got a long way to go.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Hey Grant,
Oh, hey, Olivia.
why do you keep ignoring my texts?
Sorry, I've been really distracted.
We're stuck in quarantine. What on earth would there be to distract you?
I've been reading
What have you been reading?
a book about anti-gravity. I just can't put it down.
Hey Kaylee,
Hi Isa.
did you hear we're talking about family this week?
I didn't. Speaking of family, how's yours?
They're okay. Though my mom broke her finger.
That's so sad.
Yeah, but on the other hand, she's okay. Get it?
You're terrible.
Olivia?
Yeah, Chris?
Are you going to the Zoom Bible study on Thursday at 2?
Of course. I can't wait to ask my questions. I've got some really good ones.
Really? Like what?
Who's the fastest runner in the Bible?
Oh, that's easy. Adam was.
Why do you say that?
Because he was the first in the human race.
Hey, Asa. Hey, Olivia.
Hi Jenna.
Hi, Jenna.
Do you guys know what Michael's talking about this weekend?
I'm not sure.
I think it's Joseph.
Oh, right. The guy with the colorful coat.
Yeah, that's right. Did you know he was also a great tennis player?
What? Why?
No, don't encourage Asa.
Yeah, he served in the Pharaoh's court. Get it?
I warned you.
All right, Edge. Welcome to the Sunday Quarantine stream. I'm just gonna keep calling it that. I know probably not supposed to, but I'm going to. Glad you're here. Glad you joined us tonight. We're gonna have some fun and have a little bit of teaching and tell you about what's coming up this week. So I'm actually gonna start with what's coming up this week. So we have a Bible study that is starting on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. This Thursday, 2 o'clock on Zoom. You'll find the info below. And also, you already know the password. So we're going to have a Bible study. We're going to be talking about things that you guys want to talk about, and you're going to be letting us know on Instagram. So make sure you're following us on Instagram. So before we begin, though, and go any further, we're going to play a really quick game. Since we're talking about family today, I wanted to see how well you know my family. All right, so I've got Elizabeth here with me. We have some questions that we want to ask you. See, we're tired of playing the games all the time, and we want you to play a game. So we want to find out how well you know us. So we're going to ask some questions. And I've got Elizabeth here, by the way. She's not seen these questions, and it's going to be fun to see how she reacts to hearing them. And she'll let you know if I'm right or wrong, but we're still keeping my answers because I've already made them. So here we go. All right, question number 1. Where did Elizabeth and Michael meet? A, church. B, painting with a twist. C, a birthday party. Or D, family reunion. Let's see. Hey, babe, where did we meet at?
Church.
That's right. We met at a family reunion. Just kidding. We met at church.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh. And I feel bad for anybody who does. Okay. Where did we go on our honeymoon? A, Flint. B, Orlando, Florida. C, Cancun, Mexico. Or D, Italy. What do you think? What do you think? Elizabeth, where did we meet?
Definitely Flint.
I mean, not me. Sorry, go on our honeymoon. Flint, huh?
No, Italy. Italy.
Italy. That's right, Italy. All right, next. How long have we been married? A, 2 years. B, 3 years. C, 5 years. Or D, we're not married and I'm now fired because I just broke the church handbook. What do you think? It is
B.
B. That's right, 3 years.
We're actually closer to 4.
I know, almost there. Next question. What do we and other people call our students? So what do we call you guys? A, the Boosh Crew. B, Boosh Bags. C, Edgeheads. Or D, Owen. What do you think? What are the Orion students called? Everybody!
Boosh bags!
Boosh Bags! That's right. I don't know if you know that, but now you do. What is our current favorite Netflix binge? Of these 4 options, is it A, Tiger King, B, Parks and Rec, C, Love is Blind, or D, The Great British Baking Show? What do you think? The answer is
D.
D, The Great British Baking Show. Next one. Who does most of the cooking? A, Michael, B, Elizabeth, C, they share, or D, DoorDash? What's the answer, Elizabeth?
A.
It's A.
I clean.
You do. You clean. Next question. Who takes the most care of Chewy Burrito? Is it A, Michael, B, Elizabeth, C, Chewy Burrito, or D, Hunter?
Hunter.
No, it's you. Barely. Second place would probably be Chewy, taking care of himself, though he doesn't do a good job of that. And then last, Hunter. No, third, Hunter. Last would be me. What is Elizabeth's maiden name? A, Bert, B, Blood, C, Barnes, or D, Baskin?
Carol Baskin.
What do you think? It is what?
B.
Blood. That's right. Blood. Okay. Next one. Okay, next one. What is our favorite kind of pizza? A, barbecue chicken with pineapple. B, meat lovers with bacon. C, ultimate veggie, no onion. Or D, margarita with extra cheese. The answer is
A.
A. Excuse me.
Corona. Is that you?
Stop it. Where did I propose to Elizabeth? Was it A, room 1300 during church? B, downtown Lake Orion gazebo? C, downtown Rochester near Christmas time? Or D, downtown Flint near the river?
In the river. Just kidding.
Nice. It's the gazebo. Next. Oh, that was it. Okay. Let us know how you did in the comments. Let us know how many you got. Bye. For this whole series, we're talking about Joseph. You know, he's the guy with like 11 brothers and he had one sister. He's one of my favorite characters in the Bible. He has such a fascinating story. He had such a promising future from a young age, which all of you do as well, right? And you might be able to see some parallels in how successful he was and how successful you want to be. But on top of that, Joseph was used by God to impact so many people. And he was put into some really tough times that mostly he didn't ask for. He found himself in some really tough times that he really didn't ask for, or mostly didn't ask for. But on top of everything, Joseph had some really strange family dynamics. And today we're talking about the dynamics in families and how we can learn from Joseph's story. Because family's weird. Let's face it, family is weird. I thought about some of the weird things about my family that I actually thought were pretty normal growing up, but apparently you guys have told me this is not normal. Like, we used to go hang out in the graveyard. I don't know about your family, but we did. We thought graveyards were cool. We even had birthday parties in graveyards. Some really good stories from that. Let's see, most of my siblings are the age of my friends' parents, and my mom and dad were the age of my friends' grandparents because of how old my parents were when they had me, but also how young they were when they had my siblings. Most of my nephews and nieces are actually my age or a little bit older. We used to go to the Osable River every summer, and we would eat Spam. We would just take cans of Spam, and that's what we would eat when we were canoeing. We would, sometimes when we had a date to come over and visit and meet the family for the first time, they would make that date wear a birthday hat. So if you brought a boyfriend or a girlfriend over, they had to wear a birthday hat, and then also they were given oversized silverware to eat with. And if they survived that, then we knew that. I mean, our family, I guess, knew that they were okay. We would also we would do this thing called most people call it dumpster diving. Whenever it was time to get school supplies, we would go dumpster diving late at night, and we thought that was kind of normal, but apparently it's not. And we even had a code name for it. It was called taking a night on the town. So weird. What else was weird? Oh, there were 3 adults in my house that all had equal say. It was my mom, plus my older sister and her husband. And so there were 3 adults, all had equal say. Now you imagine trying to ask if you could go to your friend's house and you get 3 different responses. Yeah, that was a lot of fun growing up. And so it's interesting how family dynamics are. And I've got to see some of your families and how they work and how they don't work. And, but it's interesting. We all act in ways at home that we would never act with our friends, or never act in school, or never act in public. Our families are unique to us. And I also think quarantine has probably maximized this for better or for worse. So how is this possible? More importantly, why is this possible? Why is this normal for us to act one way at home and act differently around other people in our lives? I think there are a lot of reasons for this, but I know one of the biggest reasons for me is that I pretty much think of my home as my world, and everybody else just kind of just living in it, right? We all have this approach to our lives where especially in our homes, where it's almost like we're the sun and everything else revolves around us. Everyone else is just on the outside of that, even if they live in our house. It's our world. We want it our way. But that's not necessarily true anywhere else other than in our homes. For some of us, though, home is the place that we feel the safest in the place where we feel like we can actually be the most real version of us. But at the same time, it can also be the place where we are the worst version of us. I think everything we say or do at home gets run through this one filter. I know this how it is for me. How does this affect me? Everything I do every decision I make is based off of how it affects me. And we respond to the things that are affecting us. And what's interesting, though, is that so is everybody else. So you have a house full of people who are each responding to the way that things affect them and running it through an inward filter first before an external filter. And I think it's pretty normal that we do that. So the question is, when the tension comes in our family, or when our interesting dynamics spring to the surface, what do we do? And do we even have to do anything, or should we just be us and make everyone deal with it? So listen, you don't need me to tell you that family's hard. You don't need me to tell you that. But the good news is we believe that this is not unique to us. Every family has dealt with this, and it's been going on for thousands of years. I mean, think about Joseph. Joseph had some really weird dynamics. I want to show you this. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not. Here is Joseph's family tree. Joseph has I'm going to see if we can.
I'll tell you.
Is it in the screen?
Yep.
Okay. So this is Joseph's dad, Jacob, also known as Israel. Jacob had 2 wives. He had Leah. He also had Rachel. Rachel was his favorite wife. He got tricked into marrying Leah. Imagine a strange family dynamic like that. Well, then he had children with Leah, but he wasn't able to have any children with Rachel. Not only that, though, he had children with their servants, which was so weird for us, but so normal for them. And if you're totally confused right now, go talk to your parents. But every kid that he had with one of those servants was counted as a child of either Leah or Rachel. So Jacob had a lot of kids. He had 12 boys, and he had 1 girl, Dinah. But his favorite wife was Rachel. And it took her a long time before she was able to have children. So her children were his favorite. That's Joseph and Benjamin. And of those 2, Joseph was his favorite of all of the children. And the entire family knew that. Joseph had a weird family tree. Joseph had some clear family favorites in his house, and it was really just him. Joseph also had a gift. He had something he was good at. He had the ability to understand dreams. And he would have dreams that even kind of predicted the future. And one time he said this to his brothers. He kind of bragged about a dream that he had. He said, "Listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain in the field when suddenly my sheaf, my pile of grain stood up while yours gathered around mine and bowed down to it." Well, his brothers said, "Do you intend to reign over us? Do you think you're actually going to rule over us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he had said. So not only was Joseph the favorite, not only was Joseph super skilled, he was flaunting that from a very young age. And he went and he told his siblings. And I want you to imagine how that would go in your family. Think about it. How would that go in your family if you did something like that or said something like that? Could you imagine the tension that this family had? One dad, 4 moms, 12 boys, 1 girl, and now the favorite is going around bragging about the things that he's great at and ignoring everybody else. I think we look at that and we're like, wow, that's pretty extreme. But the reality is Joseph was behaving like all of us do in our families sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Hyper aware of how we are treated and not really aware of how it affects everybody else. And Joseph's family was the same way. Everyone, all of his brothers, all they could see was how it affected them and the unfairness it had, or an unfairness that they were experiencing. And in this story, we can learn a lot of things. There's a lot in Joseph's story, and we're going to dive into that later. But one thing we can learn is we can learn how family has always been complicated. And Joseph's story can also teach us to pay attention to our actions and how they affect the others in our lives. Is there anything Joseph could have done differently? Absolutely. Joseph could have seen his own part in his family, and he could realize he was just one part to play. He was an important part, but he was just one part, and the others in his family did matter as much as him. The dad could have recognized that his favoritism was affecting the entire household. His brothers could have chilled out a little bit, because sometimes people are annoying, right? Sometimes family is annoying. You don't have to go to the extremes that they went to. What extremes? We'll find that out next week. And everyone themselves could have learned how to not let their insecurity control them and how they acted. It's a lot of things that could be done differently. I've experienced this in my own house. When I was growing up, my niece Tammy was about the same age that I was. She was 2 years older. And I remember one time she came home from school and she had a terrible day at school. I had an okay day, but she came home and she was really upset. She was upset at the things that happened to her. And the way that she started talking to me started to make me have a bad day. So I started throwing insults back at her, and we were going back and forth, and then the adults stepped in, and Tammy said some things that when she was really upset, and she ended up getting her door taken off of her bedroom, so that way she wouldn't have any privacy. And I thought that was pretty funny. And so when she had to go change, she had to go into the bathroom to change, and it was right across the hall from my room. So I knew whenever she was in the bathroom, what I would do is I would kind of like open and shut my door to kind of just rub it in that I had a door, and she didn't. Well, she didn't take to that too kindly. So she came out and said some nasty words, and I came out and said some nasty words. And before you knew it, the whole house imploded. In our family, like caused a little fissure in our family. And eventually we had to sit down, and I had to apologize. She had to apologize. The adults had to apologize. It was an absolute mess. For many of the same reasons that Joseph's family was an absolute mess. So what is the point? I just want you to know that the point of all of this is that Joseph's family drama is not any different from our own. You know, whether you're the favorite, whether you're the youngest one, maybe the oldest one, the middle child that nobody ever sees, maybe you're the angry one, the last born, firstborn, whatever. Maybe you're the one that with a gold medal and door slamming. You know, the truth is the same. You have a role that you play in your family just as much as I do. So we can do one of two things. We can either pay attention to the role we have and pay attention to the power we have, the power our words have, or we could ignore it and only think about us. Now, if you're not sure what to do, I think here's 2 steps. First of all, I think step 1 is to pay attention. To pay attention to how our words and our actions contribute to our family. But I also think the second part is making a decision. So deciding what you want your role to be from here on out. In other words, pay attention to how you affect your family and how do you want to affect your family. So pay attention and decide. See what your effect is and decide what you want things to be, because you do have control and you do have power. Now, if you're not sure where to begin, here's a passage from a letter that Paul wrote to the church at a town called Philippi. He said this. He said, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. In your relationships with one another, which includes your family, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus, who in his very nature, being God, didn't consider himself didn't consider equality with God to be something to be used for his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness, and being found in appearance of a man. He humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross." So what is Paul saying here? He's not saying we're not important. What he's saying is we need to be willing to look to the interests of others in our houses first. The people in our lives, be willing to uplift. Don't be so concerned about what your rights are, but be willing to put the needs of others first. And here's the thing that happens in our families if we do that. If I do that and everybody else starts doing that, before you know it, all of our needs are taken care of by each other. So here are the steps. First of all, pay attention to how you affect your family. Number 2, decide what you want to do and how you want the effect to be. And then the third thing, though, is be honest and open. Be honest and open with your family. Be real with how you feel and how their actions affect you. So I gave a challenge to some students this week, which I'm going to give to you. The challenge is take some time and sit down with each family member and tell them 3 things that you really like about them. I asked some students to do that this week, and they did. So I want you to see this.
So this is my brother Lucas, and so my 3 favorite things about him are that the first one is that we're close in age, so we're good friends and we hang out with each other, and yeah, he's a good brother. And my second favorite thing is he's a generous person, and he'll do favors for me sometimes and like make me food. And my third favorite thing is he's funny, so he's like funny to be around and just a fun person. And yeah.
Okay, so this is my brother Nicholas, and we both like to go fishing, so when we go, we have fun together. My second thing is, he's a good role model to me, and he's a good person to follow behind. My third favorite thing about him, he's just a fun person to be around. Yeah.
I get to talk about this cool dude, because he's really cool sometimes. Very, very rarely, but occasionally he is cool. Carson over here, love this kid.
Don't touch me.
Not too bad. He's a really smart kid, and he's insanely athletic. I have no athletic abilities whatsoever, and this kid can kick a soccer ball.
True.
Thanks, Carson. He's super athletic, and he's a really nice person, so yeah, my cool brother. Let's go.
Yeah, this is Drew. He's super smart. He's super good with people. He doesn't even have to try in school, and he gets better grades than me, which gets me kind of pissed sometimes because he gets straight A. He gets 98% in every class, and
yeah.
he works super hard in everything he does, and he's super good at arguing, which
yes, for sure.
When you live together isn't exactly a trait, but he's a great guy.
Thanks, Cars. Give me some.
What do you like about Claire?
I like that she's there for me when I need her. She pushes me to be a better person. And she's fun to be around.
Wow, very nice. Thank you, Ben.
Claire, what do you like about Ben?
I love how he's very intelligent. He always stands his ground, and I think he would be a really good lawyer one day. And I enjoy how he finds kind of dumb things funny. Like when he says, when he said, when I'm 100 pounds, or when I'm 99 pounds, I'm gonna eat a pound of nachos so that I'm 1% nacho. He says stuff like that all the time. And he's fun to be around, and he's really thoughtful.
That's nice.
Okay.
I love how Samantha is always kind to everyone, how good she is at cheer.
I like about Samantha is she keeps going on with her everything that she does, and she's really good at cheer, and she helps me with everything in schoolwork. I love Samantha, and she's beautiful.
What I like about Spencer is he has a passion for everyone. He's very caring, and he's very athletic, and he's really good at what he does in hockey.
He helps me with schoolwork, he plays games, he plays sports.
Shaden is very creative and has an amazing imagination, and he's not scared to do anything.
Shaden is creative and he loves soccer and everything, and how big his imagination is.
I love Shaden reading me a book.
Sadie has an amazing imagination as well, and she's so caring and loving to everyone.
I love how everyone in this whole entire family believes about Jesus and loves going to church.
So this week, take me up on this challenge. Go to your family members, record it. Actually, if you record it and send it to us or tag us in it, we will share it. But your parents will love this, by the way. May we become people who follow Jesus in the world and also starting at home by putting those in our lives first. We'll see you on Thursday at the Bible study. We'll see you tomorrow or Tuesday for the show. Have a fantastic week.